Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making one of my favorite cookies. My mom made it for us all the time when we were little and growing up, and I just love it. And the bonus of it is it's fast and easy. It's relatively healthy because you can sneak some oatmeal in there as cookies go. And it is a great way to use up jam. Now, I have a plum tree that produces plums like nobody's business usually, and that was the case, let's see, 1918. In 2018, it produced probably close to 400 pounds of plums, and that's not an exaggeration. We stopped weighing at 350 and I had already made a couple batches of jam. So yeah, it was a lot of plums, and because of that I have just jam and jam and jam, and we've been eating on it, but my tree has a pretty good crop to this year, and so now I'm down to like, I'm gonna be having new jam. I better get this old jam out of here. So this is a good way to use it up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just start our cookies right away. I want to get this going and get this done for you. So what we're going to start with is 2 cups of white flour and 1.5 cups of brown sugar, 2 cups of old-fashioned oats, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1.25 teaspoons of salt. And we're just going to stir all of that really well together. Just going to kind of get this mixture incorporated well so that there's no chunks of brown sugar or dry spots of flour. We're gonna try to get it all, because this is one of those cookie recipes that you kind of do in 2 bakes. You bake the crust first, and then you'll put the jam and the rest of the mixture of the oat mixture on top, so it makes like a layer cookie with jam in the center. And it tastes good with any type of jam. My favorites are raspberry and grape, but I don't have raspberry and grape. Today I will be using peach strawberry that I had to mix a little bit of plum into just to get the right amount. So now we're gonna add, you can see this is all really well mixed. We're going to add 1.5 cups of melted butter. It's a lot of butter. That's 3 sticks. Brian's eyes just went like, wow. Yeah, these are good to take to a picnic because they're so good. You'll want to eat the whole pan, but your heart is begging you, pleading with you, please don't eat the whole pan. So yeah. Again, I'm taking these on a picnic, so they will have some help eating them, and that's a good thing. So what you're doing is just mixing this all together here, making sure all the dry spots are gone and that it's getting fully incorporated here. And this isn't something that you need to worry about over mixing or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about those types of things with this recipe. Okay, it is ready. So let me pull my pan over here. Brian doesn't have to move anything. Get these bowls out of the way here. Okay. Actually, that's good, babe. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take about half this mixture, and how I usually do it is I just do a spoon to the side and a spoon in the pan, spoon in the pan, a spoon to the side, and I just keep doing that throughout the whole thing to get, I honestly like a little bit less than half to put on top, just because I don't like my crust to get too thin and not be able to support the jam. So I stopped putting stuff to the side at 3 spoons. And what you're gonna do is smash this down in a nice even layer. By the way, this pan is prepared. It's a 9x13 that I've prepared with my Baker's Joy. Again, you can use shortening and flour, butter and flour, baking spray and flour, but you want something that has a flour aspect to it, because sometimes the jam seeps underneath the crust a little bit in spots, and it will be nigh to impossible to get out if that happens and you don't have some sort of flour based spray or coating on there. Okay, so you can see, you should be able to see, it's pretty nice even layer all the way across. And what we're going to do is stick this in a 350-degree oven for 10 minutes is all. 10 minutes. So I will have you come back in 10 minutes. Welcome back. My family is laughing because just a minute ago I was being kind of instigated into being a monster. Okay, so this has baked for 10 minutes. And now what we're gonna do, and this part's a little hinky, is we are going to gently add the jam. I haven't done this in a while, but I remembered last time I did it, I thought, ooh, I'm gonna take my jam out previous to doing this and kind of mix it to break it up a little bit so it's not so gelatinous. And so that's why it's in this mixing bowl with this spatula. Anyway, this is probably about 2.5 cups of jam. I don't know that I'm gonna use it all. I figured I could just put it back in a mason jar if I didn't. But I like a lot of jam on these. I don't like it to taste like you can barely taste the jam. So I'm gonna stop there for a minute, and I'm going to get my offset spatula and kind of pull this jam over. You can see, I don't know if you can see on the video, but I can see that it's pulling at the crust. So it's just, this crust isn't baked, it's what you call blind baking. And so you don't want to be real rough with it. And then, like I said, you want to go up to the edge, but try not to get onto the edge of the pan, because it does cause the sugars and the jam juice to overflow the edge, and it makes it kind of ugly, and it makes a mess at the bottom. So I'm just going to spin my pan here. I mean, it's not the end of the world if it does get on the glass. It's not like something's gonna fall down from the sky and yell at you. I might have just put a little bit more where there's a couple of thin spots. So there's only maybe an 1/8 cup left, so just bite the bullet. We're just gonna spread this, smooth this out, just like that. Okay, so once we have that done, then what we're gonna do is you can smell the jam's warming up. It smells so good. We're gonna take our reserve that we had, and we're gonna just crumble it on top in a fairly even layer, just like this. You don't We're not going to smash it down. It will naturally kind of smash down on its own. And you don't need to break it up to these tiny little pieces, but just break up the chunks a little bit, like that. Try to get any spots that I missed here. Okay. All right. That looks good to me. Okay, and this goes back in the oven at 350 degrees still for 15 to 20 minutes. So we'll just stick that right in, set a timer, and I will set it for 15 to begin with, and we'll check it together. Okay, we are back. It's actually, I lied. I didn't check these with you. I checked them by myself before I realized what I was doing. So anyway, they're done now. I put them on for another 3 minutes. So that was a total of 18 minutes. You can see the edges are very golden brown. I told you they would kind of go together to form a crust on top, and it did. And they are jello-y acting. They jiggle if you give them a shake, and that's okay. It's not something like the lemon bars where you don't want that. This is fine to be the way they are. The biggest thing you're looking for is golden brown edges. And you can see some of the taller pieces of oatmeal jumble on top are golden brown also. So that means we're golden. So let me turn off my oven. And I'm going to tell you now what you need to do is you need to let these cool absolutely completely before you cut them. Don't try to cut them warm. Definitely don't try to eat them warm. Warm jam will burn your mouth like no tomorrow. It's really bad. It could be serious. So let them cool completely before you cut them. And then when they are cool, you can just cut them into squares, whatever size you'd like. And they stay good on the cupboard for about, or on the countertop, whatever, for about 2 to 3 days, depending on the heat situation in your house. But they'll stay good in the refrigerator for a long time, 10 days. You know, they'll get stale tasting before they go bad, because there's no preservatives or anything in them. So anyway, they keep well, and they have just a buttery, sweet, salty taste, so they're perfect. So other than that, there's nothing I can think to tell you other than I love you, we love you, God loves you, and God's got this.